Patience. Patience is the perfect word to describe the fan base of the Ottawa Senators. It's been 7 years since Ottawa had their incredible playoff run back in 2017. After coming up just short and not managing to replicate that success, the team was forced to reevaluate and ultimately strip things to the ground. Years of drafting, developing, and plenty of patience would pass, followed by seasons where the Senators would flirt with contention only to fall short of their postseason aspirations. With each passing season, the criticism of this team's rebuild began to grow louder. But this season is different. After a rocky start to the year, Ottawa now has a commanding lead in the wildcard race for the Eastern Conference, and barring any complete collapse, their 7-year playoff drought will be snapped. So what has changed? How did this bubble playoff team break through the barrier of mediocrity to find success? And how did they turn around their season after what felt like an endless void of average hockey? Well, today, let's talk about the Ottawa Senators and explain why this team is way better than you think. It's starting to feel like the stakes are getting higher in Ottawa, and if this team misses the playoffs, then you have to start considering changing up, at least maybe trading away one of your players, whether that's on the defensive side of the puck or the offensive side of the puck. Something has to change because you can't just keep bringing back the same roster and expecting different results. Of course, you can make a move here or there like bringing in Ullmark, but clearly that's not enough to push this team in the direction that they want to be heading into. On this channel, I've made some bad takes, but never have I made a take that has aged so poorly so quickly like this one. And that was back in early December, late November, when I talked about the Ottawa Senators during their downfall, where they had all of their injuries and were just overall playing rather poorly based on expectations. But immediately after posting that video, the Sens went on a run, have held spots within the top 3 of their division, and now comfortably will be making the playoffs this year, likely as the wildcard 1 spot in the East. So today, I'm here to roll back some of my takes from that video, explain why the Sens are actually a good team this year, and why they might just make some noise in the playoffs this year once they get in. To better understand this turnaround for Ottawa, let's look back at the start of the year. Coming into the season, expectations were cautiously optimistic. The Senators possessed that young, exciting core who, after years of developing, were set up perfectly to complement one another's game. However, like seasons of the past, their start to the year was rather underwhelming. Through the first 2 months of the season, the team was below 500 and at the bottom of their division. It felt like deja vu all over again in Ottawa. Players underperforming, untimely injuries, poor team stats, you name it, and it was an issue for the Sens. Fast forward to mid-December, and this is where things started to change a bit. The Senators found their groove and many of their star players consistently started to produce. Tim Stützle has gotten back to his point-per-game pace. Brady Tkachuk has stepped up in his leadership role, being a complete water bug for this lineup and impacting nearly every aspect of the game. To add to this, guys like Drake Batherson have been awesome, and the addition of Dylan Cousins at the deadline has proven to be a success for Ottawa. Outside of that, though, there are a few studs within their bottom 6 and some veterans, guys like Greg, Pinto, and Giroux, who are all also contributing at a high level. Something that is worth mentioning here outside of individual players performing at a higher level compared to earlier on in the year is that this team in basic team stats hasn't improved all that much from last season's Ottawa team. In fact, the only statistic that has improved by a significant margin is their power play, going from 22nd in the league last year to 12th this year. In terms of other basic stats like goals for and goals against, the Sens are either in the exact same spot or have even slightly regressed in some cases. In fact, the same can be said for their defense. If you're watching games, it seems like Ottawa is just playing all around better hockey. And within this defensive structure that they've created under their new head coach, it kind of gives them more opportunities to step up in the offensive zone, giving Ottawa some more layers to their overall structure. But still, when we're looking at statistics with this defense, like the offense, they haven't really improved on paper in a lot of different categories. The combination of Ottawa's hot offense and their structured defense has been a pleasant surprise this year, no question about it. Earlier in the season, there was a lack of chemistry and cohesiveness within their unit, but now it seems like they're finally clicking and getting their production up to a level where they could actually compete for the playoffs this year. And one player who I think has really changed the entire structure of this team is the player that they picked up in the offseason, Linus Ullmark.
Not enough can be said about the trade that this team made in the offseason. Linus Ullmark, coming off 2 incredible seasons with Boston, has become one of the best players on this Ottawa team, no questions about it. With Ullmark in the lineup, there's been a noticeable difference in the way that the Senators run their system. Defensemen like Chabot and Sanderson can step up into the offense more and not play as tight because now they have a reliable guy within the pipes who can make up for the small errors and gaps within plays. This makes the game easier for nearly every guy on and off the bench, and when it comes down to needing that one extra save, time and time again this year, Ullmark has been there for this team. This is and will be the difference for Ottawa this year. Having a number 1 guy who will be your netminder for the foreseeable future after they offered him that new contract is going to be important for a developing hockey team that's on the rise. And this time around, unlike his time in Boston, there's nothing preventing Ullmark from understanding that he is their starter and having full confidence. This may have been a hiccup for him in Boston with him sharing the net with Swayman, but with Forsberg playing well, there is still an understanding that he's the number 1 guy and that Forsberg is the backup, which I think is a positive thing for a team that needs all the confidence that they can get. So while statistics might not back the idea that the Senators are far better than they were last year, they are a lot better than you think this year because just overall, if you're watching their games, you can see there's more cohesion with the system and structure that they're playing under. Guys are playing with more energy, passion, and have more competitiveness, which is something that we don't typically see from a team like Ottawa, especially in the second half of the season where in the past they typically crumble. I think overall this team is transformed into a tough opponent on a night in, night out basis, and when they do get into the playoffs, I think they're going to be one of the tougher teams to compete against. So how far can this Cinderella story go for the Ottawa Senators, and are they a legitimate Stanley Cup contender? Again, their offensive firepower is great, their improved goaltending has supported this team, and their strengthened defense under this foundation that has come with their new head coach will be the key for success for this team, especially when it comes to maintaining their current high level of play for the playoffs.
But this is why the Ottawa Senators are way better than you think. Obviously, a lot of my opinions from that last video I posted a few months ago have changed, and this team has really proven a lot of the stuff that I talked about back then wrong. But let me know what you guys think about the Senators today. Do you think that they can make some noise in the playoffs once they get in? And who has been the most impressive guy on this team for you guys this year? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to hear your takes on this team and who you think they're going to match up with in the first round as well. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode.